Hi, Dave Henson here from Present with Vision. One thing you should always do if you are sending your slides on to someone else is to embed your fonts. If you don't, what will happen is that if the person receiving the file hasn't got the fonts that you've used on their device, it will go to a default font and it will make your slides look awful. So how do you do that? Well, it's quite a simple thing to do. Here's a presentation I've got here, and I've used a font called Railway, which is my corporate font, if you want to call it that. When I save the file, I'll go to File, Save As, and if I click on More Options here, you'll see that there's a little box with tools and an arrow. Click on it, click on Save Options, and then down here it says Preserve Fidelity, etc., etc. Embed fonts in the file, and you can either embed only the characters that you've used in the presentation, which will reduce the file size, or you can embed all of the characters. I always tend to embed all of the characters. I was going to say I don't know why PowerPoint doesn't embed fonts by default, but I kind of do know why. It's presumably because it does increase the file size, because it has to now contain all the font information as well. But it can be a bit of a pain if you're putting together a bunch of slide decks for an event. If people send you their slides, they haven't got them embedded, you've got to go back to them and say, can you please embed your fonts? So it can be a bit time consuming. So anyway, I click OK, and then I click Save, and it will save my presentation with the fonts embedded. Now, sometimes you'll get a warning come up that says the fonts can't be embedded. Some fonts have license restrictions that won't allow you to embed them. Google Fonts, I tend to use them nearly all of the time now. They don't tend to have these license restrictions, and you can normally embed them without a problem at all. So that's a very simple, quick tip this week on how to embed your fonts.